Hello everybody, welcome to the third episode of Best of British Blackwell. I'd just like to start this video off by thanking absolutely everybody that's subscribed to my YouTube page, everybody that's liked my Facebook page, and everybody that's watched my last two videos. The support I've received from you guys is absolutely overwhelming, and it was really unexpected. So thank you so much if you've liked and subscribed or just even watched any of my videos. Cheers to you, so thank you very much. This week I'm going to be making you a couple of things. I'm going to start off with some lovely baby back ribs. A friend of mine, Jason West, asked if I had a good recipe for some ribs, and I'm going to show him that today. I'm going to show you guys that today. This is a wonderful barbecue ribs recipe. We're going to crack on with that in a moment. A little bit later on this weekend, I'm going to show you how to make some good old-fashioned proper British bubble and squeak, which is just one wonderful dish and good old-fashioned food. So let's crack on with these ribs. First I'm going to rub these down. I'm going to bring you close up here and show you some of these ingredients. We're going to give them a bit of a rub. We're going to cook them low and slow, and we're going to finish them off in the oven. Okay, so see you guys in a second. So here they are. We've got some lovely little baby back ribs here, courtesy of Chadwick's Butchers in Tooting. Wonderful butchers, absolutely superb. Prepared these for me today while I waited. Excellent service, highly recommended. We've got some very basic rubs to put on them today, but they're going to really add to the flavour of this stuff. We've got the Food Rub Company's pork rub here, which is absolutely wonderful. I thoroughly advise you guys to go and try some of this stuff. Some very basic garlic granules. I'm not going to use too much of that. We've got some Creole seasoning, which adds a lovely kind of southern flavour to these bad boys. And we've got some herb salt here, which you can pick up from any decent supermarket. So we're going to start off with the garlic granules to start off with. You don't need too many of these, you're just looking for a bit of seasoning, so a nice liberal dash of this all over, and that would be about it. We're going to use a lot more of the other ingredients than we're going to use the garlic granules, because you don't want to overpower these. You'll notice that I'm concentrating on the front side of these ribs and not the back. The back has got some good meat on it, but they've also got the membrane on as well, so the rub that you apply here isn't really going to permeate through that membrane, so you don't have to worry about that too much. You really want to concentrate on the front of the meat here. Let me just wipe my hands. Next we're going to move on to the herb salt, which I keep in one of these handy little Tupperware things. Just a liberal sprinkling of that all over each of these. You get your ingredients on first, and then you're going to apply apply some rubbing technique on there as well, so I'll show you that in a moment. Just stops you getting your hands too dirty too, so you don't have to keep wiping your hands. Next up we're going to go with the pork rub. Once again, the Food Rub Company is where we get these from. I got this on Amazon. They are a wonderful company. They provide some really good customer service, you know, next day delivery and so on, and the amount and the variety of rubs that they have and the taste of these things are absolutely superb, so check them out. And then finally some Creole seasoning. I mean, it's just a shame we don't have smell-o-vision, because this stuff is absolutely superb and it's going to add a lovely dynamic taste to these ribs. Nice good liberal sprinkling of this all over here. Just that tiny little bit more, it's going to loosen it up a tad. And then all we do is we massage that into this meat, give it a good rub into every single corner of the meat. As you can see that there, really trying to get the flavour of these rubs into that meat. This meat is a little bit cold still, so I'm going to apply a few more sprinklings of rub to the sides and maybe just a little bit to the back, and then what we're going to do is we're going to let these get down to room temperature, and then finally we're going to sit our rack that we used for the tomahawks last week. Sit our rack in here. We're going to clean the bottom of this tray out. We're going to sit the ribs on top. I'm going to put this rack inside. I'm going to put some water around the outside, make a bit of a bain-marie, and stick this in the oven on about 120 degrees for about 3 or 4 hours. We're going to cook these really low and slow, but I'll give you a short close-up demonstration of how we do that in just a minute. We'll let these, I'll finish rubbing these off and we'll let them get down to room temperature. Okay, so as I said, the ribs are now on the rack. On the bottom of the pan is nothing at all, nice and clean after we've put the rub in there. All I'm going to do to this is add some freshly boiled water. Fill this around about halfway up, because you don't want this water to evaporate away and dry out. You want to make sure there's plenty of water in there. And as you can see already, the steam from this kettle, then this water, is going to rise up through these ribs. It's going to permeate through that membrane at the back, really soften all this meat out. Those rubs are going to have a chance to soak and sink into the flesh of this meat. And we're going to stick this in the big oven behind me on a 120 degrees centigrade. I'll find out what that is for you in Fahrenheit and put it on the video for you. 120 degrees centigrade, and these are going to go in for a long time. They're going to go in for 2, 3, minimum of 2 hours, probably 4 hours, and then we'll get them out and we'll be applying some glaze and some sauce to these. Okay, so now all you've got to do is whack these in the oven, sit back, enjoy a beer, and look forward to chomping down on these a little bit later on. So while those ribs are cooking, I'm going to show you how to make a very basic barbecue sauce and glaze to go over these ribs. You could really start from scratch and make your own barbecue sauce, but actually some of the barbecue sauces that you get in supermarkets are so good these days it kind of takes the hassle out of it. My barbecue sauce is a sauce with a twist. You'll see I've got some ingredients here which I'm going to talk you through as and when. Firstly, we have got the bog standard barbecue sauce, lovely kind of smoky taste to it. Here we've got the Stubbs Hickory Liquid Smoke. I bought this on Amazon. It was relatively cheap. I think it was about £5. This is brilliant stuff. This makes food taste like it's been over a barbecue for a couple of hours. We've got typical British weather today. It's raining outside. I can't really light that barbecue up. So a couple of drops of this into the barbecue sauce is going to make it taste a bit more smoky. This here is a Bloody Mary spice mix. This is the kind of stuff you throw in to your Bloody Mary, which is your vodka and tomato juice. It's quite spicy, it's got a nice little back taste to it, and it's wonderful in barbecue sauce. To give your ribs that kind of glaze that you want, there's some dark soy sauce here. When that cooks out, that goes a lovely kind of shiny colour and you get that really nice kind of sticky texture to it. I don't ever really measure things out. I like to kind of play by ear with the measurements, so I'm just going to start pouring these into the bowl. We're going to start off with the barbecue sauce. Obviously you use quite a lot of that. We're going to be building up a really big heavy sauce base on these ribs. They're going to be dripping in this sauce, so you want plenty of that in there. I would say, you know, that's getting on for, you know, a quarter of a pint, something like that. This stuff here, the Stubbs Hickory Liquid Smoke, is quite strong, so you don't really want as much of that. I would say that is probably about a tablespoon, and that's probably about enough. Likewise for the Bloody Mary spice mix, this is quite spicy, so probably about a tablespoon in there. And then finally, with the soy sauce, you probably want 2 tablespoons in there. Again, just measuring this out quite roughly. And then all you do is get your brush in, give that a really good mix. You'll see that the thick texture of the barbecue sauce is loosened by the sorry, as a train goes past there. Yeah, the thick texture of the barbecue sauce is overtaken by the looser kind of more liquid texture of the other sauces there, but that's absolutely fine. You've got a lovely consistency to this here, and all we're going to do is, when those ribs have been in for a few hours, we're going to start to build up a base layer of barbecue sauce all over those ribs. We're going to add them and glaze them time and time again. You'll see some close-ups of that in a minute, but that's your sauce. So these ribs have been in now for about 2.5 hours. You can see they're going a lovely colour. You can see you've got the rub still evident on them there. What I'm going to do now is give them a very quick coat of the barbecue sauce I just showed you how to make, and then I'm going to whack them straight back in the oven on that lovely low temperature still. We're not cranking this oven up until it stays as low as possible. Just give a nice solid coat to every single inch of these ribs, and then all you do, I'm going to finish these off by coating them up. I'm going to do every single one of these, give it a nice thick layer, and then just put it back in the oven, still on around about 120 degrees. You know, if you don't want these till a little bit later on, you can even turn that oven down, get it onto 80 or 90 degrees, you know, below 200 Fahrenheit if you want to. But there you go, there's that first one done. Nice good covering of this sauce here, and then what we're going to do is just build it up. So Come back in a minute. Okay, so the ribs are done now. We've had them on for about 8 hours. I've been basting them in the barbecue sauce I showed you how to make earlier, every hour at least. And if you want to come over and have a look, you'll see they've got a lovely sauce to them. They're cooked all the way through. The meat is really still nice and moist. We cooked them up with some sides of some fries and some coleslaw, and they are fantastic. Soft to the bite and still pink in the middle. If you can see that, so they haven't dried out. Still really moist, still really tasty, and you've got that lovely sauce on the top as well. If you don't like these, you're not going to like anything. So Jason West, I hope you like this. Next video is going to be the bubble and squeak, but again, superb food, well worth the wait. Cheers.